Morning, folks. Welcome to Tuesday's edition of Lake Superior Art Glass Fireside Chats. Today I'm going to be demonstrating a sea turtle pendant. This is something part of our Design Your Own Pendant program we've been offering, and I used to do these quite a bit, probably I would venture to say 2008 to 2013, 14, somewhere in there. Not a ton of them, but a handful. This style will be a little bit different. I'm going to use dichroic glass for the shell. So that's going to be really nice. I've got my piece of dichroic here. This is a color called pink teal. Again, dichroic is called that because it has two color properties. So right now you can see the teal reflective property, but it has a transmitted property. So if we put it up to the light, let's see if I can get this to work. You can kind of see it has a pinkish hue to it. It's obviously super bright right now, but it is pink. You know, my light is more of a blue-green. I put that over the top, and it makes it turn more pink. So the dichroic glass is a transmitted color property and a reflected color property, and that's where they get their name. So pink teal, it reflects teal, but transmits pink. So we're going to use that for the color in the shell. And then I've got some different frit in my frit trays here for the fins. And so what I'm going to do for the fins today, it's going to be kind of fun. I've got Amazon Night, which is a really heavily reactive color. So it reacts the ratio of propane and oxygen in the flame. And this is actually the same color I use for my lake green backed Lake Superior pendant. So those really nice deep blue greens. That's produced by this color, which in frit actually looks green. I think I've got a rod of it sitting here somewhere, maybe. I usually do. Yeah, in rod form, it actually just looks black. It's so dense, but the metals in that color change it to more of a really deep blue-green. And if you don't cover it with clear, it ends up kind of earth tones, kind of muted tans and grays. Nothing too crazy exciting. That's what a lot of times it'll do. But you put clear over it, then you get those nice deep blue greens. So I also have some clear frit. This looks white, but it's actually clear. And so that's going to help bring out some of those blue greens. And I've also got a color, I was just looking through all my frit. I don't use frit much anymore. And realized I have this color, which is called Paparazzi. It is a really nice green sparkle aventurine color. And so I'm going to throw some of that in there too, just for some fun, just to switch it up and do something a little bit different. Should give it some sparkle, maybe act kind of like the clear. I was hoping I had bigger pieces of clear so I could make the fins more speckled, kind of like how more of a real sea turtle would look. So I didn't, but I grabbed a bunch of little pieces of clear glass, you can kind of see them in there, from my bench. Just little scraps of clear from other pieces that had broken laying around. And so I might try some of that to get a little bit more of that speckled look to the fins. So that's what we're going to do there. Thank you guys again for all the orders. We had a bunch more yesterday. Reminder, we're doing the local image pendant fundraiser, so $5 for every local image pendant we sell gets donated to the Artist Relief Fund of Minnesota. So please continue supporting small businesses, and we're happy to be able to give back as well to other artists in this time. So keep that up. Hope everyone's staying healthy out there. We've been super busy at our house this last weekend. We decided we were going to finally sand down the baseboard. It had never been sanded from when carpet had been taken out, which was before I moved in 10 years ago. And I said, well, if we're going to sand and repaint the baseboard, we should do that. We should paint the window trim. So we sanded that. And, well, if we're going to paint the window trim and the baseboard, well, we should probably just repaint the walls, but that means fixing plaster cracks. So our little weekend project has spilled over into this week. So yesterday afternoon we got everything all primed. And then today we're going to do first layer of painting this afternoon. So that's pretty exciting. Finally doing some work to the house that I've never had time for in the last 10 years. So that's good. Yeah, hope you guys are doing well, and we'll get started and make a sea turtle pendant here. So I've got my smoothie as usual. I would really hope you guys would tell me if I get smoothie in my beard throughout the demo. Otherwise I'm just going to be licking my beard the whole time thinking I might have smoothie in it. Alright. So we're going to start with the shell. We'll take our dichroic glass and get some clear glass on there. Hey Deb, glad you're joining us. This sea turtle pendant is for Deb. This is her request, so. What's up, Travis? Oh, you can tell I was making a big marble yesterday. Got my torch all cranked up here. Let's get the adjustment here. There we go. So we're first going to start by encasing the dichroic. Dichroic is very, very sensitive to heat. So I've got the coated side facing away from the torch. Dichroic is kind of like a mirrored coating on one side of the sheet of glass. And if you heat the coated side directly in the flame, it tends to get too hot, and then you won't get sparkle out of it. It'll just look kind of gray. But it is important to preheat your dichroic. Ideally, you want it to get crinkly before you encase it. You guys see how it has that crinkle to it? Can't quite tell if you guys can see that, but that's what we're shooting for. Really pretty kind of aqua blue. That's the funny thing about dichroic, is that it's really hard to predict what colors you're going to get. Even though it's called pink teal, now that I've applied heat to it, it doesn't look as teal anymore. It definitely looks more like aquamarine blue. So just kind of as an FYI, whenever folks request custom colors for dichroic, whether it's in my Galaxy Vortexes or anything like that, I always try to pick the color that I think is going to achieve the closest color tones to what people ask for. And just like this, as soon as you start heating it up, it changes a little bit. That's just kind of how it goes. I'm going to remove some of the corners here just a little bit. So cutting circles of sheet glass is really hard, so I just cut a square, and then when I put it on my round piece of glass, I just kind of swipe away the corners to make it more circular. So this process right here is exactly how I would make one of my dichroic image pendants for local images or any of the other ones that I do. Same exact process up until this point for sure. So now we're going to add a darker color behind this to really make that dichroic stand out. Excuse me. I don't think what color I should add here. Pretty nice blue dichro already. I think I'll add a teal behind it. It'll be dark enough to make it pop, but it'll still fit with the water theme that we're going with. Oh, sorry to hear that, Tina. That's the tough thing right now. We're all trying to figure out what's going to happen in 2 months. It's surprising that your flight's already been canceled for June already. But things seem to be moving about 2 months out for sure. Well, if you can't make it, you can always mail stuff to us as well. We do receive a lot of ashes in the mail pretty much every day for custom orders, so we've got a good system for that, and the USPS is really good about it. They want you to send things priority express mail. That's technically or legally how you have to send ashes, and so that brings a pretty high level of service with it. So they show up quickly, and you have to sign for them, and so it really helps to provide some good peace of mind as well, so that you're not as worried about things getting lost in the mail. So I'm just melting that background color in. Just a reminder to everyone, our hummingbird feeders are on sale through tomorrow. Those will make great Mother's Day gifts, or just a fun spring addition to add to your yard or your bird feeder area. All right. So that's all melted in. I'm going to put a punty on the flat side on the back. Oh, and another thing too that's on my list to do today is to go through our clearance page and probably offer some even greater discounts on some of the higher price items there. We've had great response on a lot of the lower price items, and our clearance table is emptying out every day, which is awesome to see. But I've noticed there's a bunch of other higher price items there, or that are still left that aren't moving. So I think I'm gonna go through and see if we can't offer some bigger discounts on those. So be sure to check the clearance page pretty much every day. We're always adding new stuff or increasing discounts, so always check that out. Using a marble mold to help round out this piece. I don't know if I mentioned before, I think I did, but this is going to be the shell of the turtle. So we're starting there. Is this still white balanced, right? Yeah, I guess so. So, you can see some of that bluish sheen there at the right angles. Let's see if it shows up close to the camera. Yeah, there we go. Some nice blue sparkle. All right. So, now I think I'm going to do the tail first. The reason being so that I can stretch this out a little bit. I'd really like to get a little bit more of an elongated shape to the shell. Doesn't need a lot, but a little bit. Turtle shells are not perfectly round. I'm going to do one step first, though. I'm going to do a move that I was taught years ago. The artist called it Kung Fu. And it's a pretty cool way to use centrifugal force to kind of widen a piece and flatten it all at the same time. So you get it super hot. So that totally lowered the profile and widened that piece out. Awesome. Good. I'm glad you love it, Deborah. Wait till you start seeing the fins. I'm really excited about those. All right, so we're going to start with the tail first, and that's what I'll hold on to this piece with the whole time, is I'll be holding it from the tail. So we're going to roll it in our Amazon night frit. It's going to give us our nice kind of organic green look to it. Two layers of that. And then we'll do a layer of the paparazzi, which is that really nice green sparkle, which should add a neat effect to the Amazon night. And then we'll do some clear as well. And the clear is just going to help to trap the color of the Amazon night at different stages. So wherever there's a clear coat, it'll be trapped as more of a greenish color, and wherever there's not, it's going to get a little bit more organic and probably a little more earth tone like. Getting that nice and melted in on all sides. So I can give it a little stretch, taper it out. Their tails aren't very big, so I want to make sure I'm setting this up to look accurate now, because once I get the rear fins on there, it'll be pretty hard to go in and make any changes to that area. That should be pretty good for now. gonna melt in the punty mark on the back. I'm gonna add the head next, just again so I can get a little bit more control over the shape of the shell. I'd like to stretch it out just a little more. So I need to go get attached to this shell opposite of the tail in order to get that stretch that I'm looking for. And once the front flippers are on there, it's going to be a little harder to shape the loop. I was reminded of that yesterday when I was making the horse head pendant. I had to put that loop kind of between the ears, and I ended up having to redo the ears because I had to get the loop hot enough to shape it. But then the detail in the ears went away, so I had to redo it. So I'm going to do the loop next. So I'm rolling some clear glass rod in my gravy boats of crushed up colored glass called Frit, F-R-I-T. And now that I can see how the colors turn out for the tail, I'm going to do 2 layers of the paparazzi just to see if we can't get some more sparkle out of that. You see how it's a little bit more of an earth tone where that tail section meets the shell there. Alright, so I got my glass kind of in position for the head, which is also the loop. And I'm just going to go back in and heat up my shell a little bit so I can give it a little stretch. There we go, that's a little better. You can see I elongated my round disc. Now we'll go ahead and make the loop. All right, so that'll be our head of the sea turtle, also functioning as the loop. Now I can start adding fins. So I'm going to do the back ones first, only because this piece of glass here that I've got coated already, that I didn't use all for the loop, it's already got color on it, so it's pretty much ready to go. I'm just going to add a few more layers here, but it's not big enough, I don't think, for the front flippers, so I'm going to use it for the rear. Although we'll see. It might, the scale I'm working on here, it actually might be enough for the front flippers now that I'm seeing it. So again, kind of like all my other sculptures, it's just kind of chunky and blobby, not really a great looking fin. And that's because what I'm going to do now is actually heat it up again and squish it with my mashers to give it a flattened look, and then I'll do the shaping on it. A little bit smaller flame for more control over details now. Getting more of that fin profile. You guys can see that. I'm going to remove a bunch of the excess. Obviously that fin is way too big right now. I'm probably going to leave it a little bigger than what it should be for the moment, so that when I add my next one, I've got to compare it. I can make them match. You know, if I made this one too short and the other one was even shorter, I can't, it's already too short, I can't really remove material. So I'd rather leave them long and then go back and adjust them to make them look right. And in fact, I might even leave them until I get the rear ones on, just to make sure everything looks proportionate. You can always remove more glass from a sculpture, but it's a lot harder to go back and add glass. Cool, that paparazzi color is giving it a really nice subtle sparkle. It's subtle, but if you look for it, you'll be able to see in the finished piece it kind of looks like car paint. It's got that little bit of a glitter to it. Always keeping this warm in the back of the flame. If it gets too cold, it'll start cracking, so the whole time, and just keep it in the back of the flame to keep it nice and warm. And by warm, I mean over 1,000 degrees. Glass doesn't really like to crack above 1,000. All right, we'll get the fin hot, and then we'll give it a nice squish to flatten it out. Okay, now we'll start shaping the fin. All right, those two are matched up pretty well right now. Not perfect, but again, I'm going to leave them as they are for now, so that once I get the rear fins on, if I decide I want to change proportions a little bit or anything like that, I've got enough glass there to make those adjustments. As always, if you guys have a custom pendant you'd like me to make live on our stream like this, be sure to submit your ideas. There's a form on our website. Just fill that out. Let us know what you're thinking, and we will let you know if it's doable. And again, if you're just joining us, we're doing a fundraiser for the Minnesota Artist Relief Fund. $5 from every local image pendant purchase through our website right now gets donated to the Minnesota Artist Relief Fund. So really awesome way that we're able to help give back and keep supporting Minnesota artists, because I think one thing that has been a big reminder to all of us during this time is how much we really do value the arts. We may not think about it in our daily lives, but you know, even watching Netflix, we're watching artists, we're watching actors perform and, you know, doing their craft. And so now more than ever is this great reminder that we really do need arts in our daily lives. Need arts. Need the arts in our daily lives. Thanks, Stacy. Yeah, it's pretty fun. I've never put this much work into a sea turtle pendant before. All the other ones I've done were really, really basic, just sea turtle-esque. And this one is a really pretty rendition of a sea turtle. If you haven't watched me before or heard me explain it in some of the other demos, the way I'm able to get my flame to go bigger and smaller like that is I have a foot pedal down below that I can just click on and off, and that turns on the next stage of my torch, which is super helpful when I've got both hands working, and not only gets me the flame size that I need when I need it, but it also saves gas. My torch, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it has 9 knobs on it. So there's a lot of adjustments that can be made, but that's really cumbersome to do as you're trying to work a hot piece of glass. So by having that foot pedal down there, it's a really nice way to help control that and do it efficiently as well. I'm going to go a little bit smaller here. I'm really liking that back flipper right now. I like the shape of that a lot. It's what I'm going to try to shoot for on the other side. And then I'll go back up top and adjust the 2 front fins, make those look more proportionate. And put a couple dots on the head for eyes. And then we'll finish this up. layer of the Amazon Night. That's our green striking color, or as we call it in our classes, a mystery color, because it's always a mystery as to how it's going to turn out. You never have 100% control over those colors typically. And I just added 2 layers of paparazzi, which is a transparent green sparkle color. If you think about how car paint sparkles, it's just like that. It's little flecks of metal, essentially. And then 2 layers of clear, just to kind of make sure everything stands out really nice and helps preserve our colors a little bit better. It kind of helps trap that Amazon Night or that striking color in more of a green state versus an earth tone state. All right, now we're ready to add our last fin. Remove a bunch of it now, so I know I've got way more than I need. And we'll flatten it, and then I'll shape it and remove all of the excess that I don't need. So when I was younger, I never really considered myself an artist because I couldn't draw. I thought you had to be good at 2-dimensional art in order to be an artist. And I was very musically inclined, and so that was kind of my art form, if you will, when I was younger. And I started working with glass when I was 17, and realized it was this medium that I could actually really wrap my head around and figure out, because with drawing and doing 2-dimensional art, my brain couldn't envision how to create a 3-dimensional looking piece on a flat sheet of paper. And so it was really fun when I realized that I could understand an art form, but it just had to be in 3 dimensions. And so I started working with glass when I was 17, and took a ceramics class when I was going to Masabi. That was really fun. I'm really glad that I took that, because it showed me a lot of the similarities and differences between glass and ceramics. There's quite a few similarities, especially when you're making vessels, to just getting things to look symmetrical. Takes a lot of practice. Not something that is as easy as the instructor makes it look. Which is another similarity to glass. It's much harder than it looks. Go. Oh, thanks, Chuck. Glad you're tuning in every day. It's a fun way to start my day. I get in and I look at my emails and do some busy work, get my coffee, and kind of start prepping for my demo every day. And it's good. It gets me going. Without the structure of our normal daily routine here at Lake Superior Art Class, it'd be really easy for me to flounder and dilly-dally and, you know, work on all the other projects besides making glass, which, yes, those do need to get done too, but this forces me to get on the torch working at 10 o'clock every day, so I'm glad to be doing it. All right, so for these upper fins, I need to shorten the turtle's left fin a little bit here. It's a little too long. So really subtle details about things I'm doing but have a big effect. When I'm removing glass away, I'm specifically rotating this rod of glass a particular direction to get the glass to pull that way. If I just pulled straight out, it would pull out evenly from both sides of the fin. You know, so it would just pull out straight like that. Whereas if I rotate as I pull, I'm going to pull more from the top part down as it's coiling up around my rod. And so that helps achieve some direction to determinations of attachments like fins or horns or anything like that. If you're trying to get it to pull a certain direction, you can do that with heat and then rotation of the rod you're removing the material with. I gotta taper the tip a little bit more here just to make it look more realistic. And then go across and do the same thing on the other side. Can't let it get too cold, gotta keep warming it up. Two hearts that have a name on each heart. Cool, sounds like a fun project. Chuck, I'm guessing you've submitted that idea to through our website. If you haven't, be sure to do that so that we can have all the details in writing, because obviously my hands are a little full right now to get the details, but yeah, we'll take a look at it and see what we can figure out for you. Another big thing when you're sculpting is perspective. If you've been looking at it this way the whole time, sometimes it's really nice to flip it over and look at it the other way. You'll see different things that maybe you didn't notice the first time or from the other direction. So I am pretty happy with that. I think everything's looking pretty proportionate. Really like how it all came together. I'm going to add a couple of eyes for on the head, on the loop there. couple of black dots of glass. Cool. All right. Now to finish it up. Use my tweezers to hold on to it. I'm going to actually change my approach here a little bit. Normally I'd grab it with the tweezers, but I really want to make sure I don't mess up details of the back fins and that I get this tail nice and small. And so in order to do that and be sure that I can do that without messing stuff up, I'm actually going to put a punty on the loop on the very top. It's a very delicate connection. That way I can do full rotations and go ahead and disconnect it down here at the tail. Oop, that's how delicate it was. It was not even holding on well enough to support its own weight. We'll put that back on there. There we go. It should be a little more secure. Alright, we'll proceed just to take quite a bit of glass off of the tail area here. It's just a little too big. There we go. Gotta get a little bit of a point back to one of these fins. Hi Stacy, good question. Yeah, this one's already sold. This one's for Deborah. It was a custom order that she submitted. But if you would like to add a sea turtle to your order, yeah, Jody's got the info there for you. Yeah, let us know if you want us to make one for you. It'd be fun now that I'm in the groove. Alright, little tap, just the tiniest tap is going to break this free. I can probably almost do it with my finger. Not quite, it's on there a little too good. A little too good for that. Need something a little more shocking. All right, just a little polish right on the tip there. There is our finished sea turtle pendant. Nice blue-green dichroic shell. Really earthy fins. Trying to get some different angles here to see where the light picks it up the best for the camera. See some more colors there. I like turtles. All right, so now it's going to go into the kiln to cool slowly. Kiln's about 1,000 degrees. And we'll sit there for the day while I make other pieces today, and then it'll cool slowly over about 12 hours to bring it down to room temperature so it doesn't get stressed out and crack. So thanks so much everyone for watching. Tune in every day at 10 o'clock. I'll be making something live. Shop online, support small businesses. Hummingbird feeders are on sale through tomorrow, and then tomorrow we'll release a new sale item, so stay tuned for that. If you have pendant ideas that you want to see me make live, go to our website and submit the form there to figure out how to have us make you something custom on the spot. So yeah, we appreciate all the support. Keep the orders coming. Support your local restaurants. Everyone needs your support at this time, and we appreciate it. So take care everyone, be safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow at 10.